Don't worry, Master. I will save you with my powerful leaf attack.
Thanks for your help, Woodman. Damn it, I must have been high when I made him.
Meanwhile, in Hueco Mundo...
Welcome today in class, my fellow students. Now we're talking about a new subject on matter at hand, sustainability. Sustainability, huh? Well, I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm always up to learn something new. So mind telling us what it is, teacher? I hope it's not another one of those go green to save the world kind of deals. I'm starting to get a lot bored of them recently. Oh man. So tell us, what is this about? Well then, if you want to know, Stark, well then class, I should tell you that sustainability is a new evolving method based on how human consumerism is affecting both our economy and both our environment as a whole. Today's topic on sustainability leads us to the vast world of video gaming. Video gaming, huh? Well, that's always a fun topic you can always discuss about. A lot of my favorite games, such as Devil May Cry 4 for one, which is a huge hit for Capcom. The Capcom game company made huge hits such as Devil May Cry series and the old classic Mega Man series. Video games are quite entertaining, Professor, but I doubt to see how this is related to our lecture. Would you just shut your piles and let me finish my lecture, please? Back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. The current world of video games today have all derived from an original device that was invented in the 1940s. This device was known as the cathode ray tube amusement device. Created and patented by Thomas T. Goldsmith Jr. and Estelle Ray Mann, the cathode ray tube amusement device is led to be the original architect for the video game designs. This eventually led to the development of far more advanced video games and the creation of the video game community as a whole.
That's fascinating and everything, but I still don't know how video games affect our environment, Professor.
Buckethead's right. Does throwing away our video games cause that much bad harm to our environment?
We're not all video gamers, you know. Like what you're saying is targeting a very small community.
Yes, that may be true, but video games and video game consoles are one of the large contributors to electronic waste, or what we know to be called as e-waste. Major platforming video game consoles today, such as Microsoft's Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, and Sony PlayStation 3, after dismantling, all have been tested positive for a various number of hazardous chemicals. A lot of hazardous chemicals such as polyvinyl bromide, beryllium, and mercury, which make quite the hazardous working environment for people in landfills, which is starting to become quite the environmental concern today. Well, I don't really want to be the kind of creatures that live around that dump. I can see how poisonous that environment is for the people and animals that both live around that located region. Well, does video games cause harm to the environment as well? Well, Mr. Jaggerjack, it would be nice to take you a painful trip down memory lane. Now this class will involve a brief history of what is known to be the 1983 North American video game crash. Due to a large oversaturation of video games that are less than desirable, and company rivalry from both PC companies and several other gaming franchises, several video game companies suffered serious blows from rising competition with other gaming companies and decrease in profit due to a large gross consumption and production of very bad video games. Eventually led to the falling out and bankruptcy of several of these large companies. Actually, one game that we consider the turning point of this downsizing and bankruptcy in companies was E.T. the video game for the Atari 2600.
Hello? Somebody out there?
It's the video game that lets you pretend you're E.T., running away from secret agents, falling into danger, finding a phone to call home, and discovering the best thing on earth, a friend. E.T., only from Atari.
Well then, that game doesn't look so bad. It looked cute.
This game is often considered to be the worst game in video game history and probably is known as video gaming's natural disaster. Because of the video game's mass overproduction and also the unpopularity it had with its fans, most of these video games were dumped, crushed, and destroyed and placed in a landfill outside of El Paso, New Mexico. It said 4 million of those copies were dumped there. Mr. Jaggerjack, if I'm mistaken, weren't you also one of the people who bought one of those E.T. video games? Can you tell us what you thought of it? What was your personal response to the game? There you are. You're that jerk who sold me that game, right? Well, I'll teach you a lesson to make a fool of me. Take that, take that, take that. You wish you could go home when I'm done with you. Apparently I have to see my parole officer sometime soon. That bad, huh? It was terrible. That sounds quite the predicament, huh, Professor? So is there any way to avoid future concerns such as this? Well, good question there, Xylopoda. Well then, if you want to avoid having a criminal record here like Grimjow, there are several alternatives to able to avoid this problem that some game consumers take upon themselves. Options like, you mean like arson? No, you idiot. He's talking about how other gamers find ways to avoid this problem by either pawning their games or renting them. This way I avoid making waste and share my games throughout our community. Oh, I see. So that's how old obsolete video games can still be found available in certain local game stores. What if my console or video games break and I can't be able to repair them? What then, huh? That would probably increase the waste a bit more. Well, luckily there are several waste facilities that are specialized in electronic waste. They are also approved by our Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. But people are properly introduced on how to properly dispose their electronic waste. Well, that's a really good question there, Stark. To answer that, projects such as G4G Cycle has been going around and educating people on proper ways to dispose their e-waste,
it's cool, dude. I'm pretty sure they'll grow back as a flower
helpful to the situation.
or a rainbow.
The more informed about e-waste, the better. Well, that ends our lecture today, class. I all hope you learned something new. And now we know. Knowing's half the battle. What? Over so soon.